Hey guys, good afternoon. Very nice to meet you. Let me just drop this water here. So very nice to be here, big honor. Let me just start, before I start questioning Roman here, by raising your hand. How many of you have either a private banker or a financial advisor? One? No takers? Two? How many else? Oh yeah, I thought so. I thought so. And that's why? And why? Because you guys are the tip of the spear. Many times during this day, this morning and this afternoon, we spoke about institutional adoptions, right? And what I wanted to bring you today with Roman, if you guys will, is a perspective from the front lines. What does it mean to have institutional adoptions across cryptos and specifically on the Solana proper? And today we have with us Roman, who is actually one of the pioneers in this respect. So maybe Roman, how about we start with like a bit of an introduction about yourself and about your work at AYG?
Thank you, Fabio. It seems that we have many of future clients over here, and not many of them are quite advised. So yeah, I work in a bank. I am the crypto guy inside the bank, almost to be fired a couple of times, as you can imagine. So I spend half of my day trying to convince really serious institutional investors, not convince, just to explain what is really crypto and why they should allocate at least 2 to 3% in their allocation, in the asset allocation. And the other part of the day, I spent trying to convince our compliance team that I am not here to blow up the bank. So yeah, in fact, there is a funny story about this, Fabio, I want to tell you about. Because there was one of the guys, one of our compliant officers, this was the one that was in charge to review all the presentations about our crypto product and make sure that we were really compliant with regulators. And after weeks of all this work, he came to me like, OK, Roman, after doing this due diligence, how can I invest in crypto? So he finally invested. So the beauty about this is the people that really are digging in, that are doing the due diligence, are finally investing in crypto. So yeah, we finally launched this Cryptomonedas fund. It's a crypto hedge fund based in Madrid, Spain, in 2023. It's the first daily liquid fund in Europe. It's 100% regulated by the Spanish authority. And we are investing up to 100% in crypto using European physically backed ETPs.
Love it. Thank you, Roman. Very nice. Actually, I really planned to ask you how the idea for Cryptomonedas came along, because Cryptomonedas is actually the first fund of its kind in the whole of Spanish-speaking investment space, which is amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more how the conversation was within the bank in order to get into this pioneering position? Because it's quite interesting. On one hand, it's more like, okay, how can we make sure that the investor journey is safe, right? And we're compliant with regulation. And on the other hand, it's like, let's be innovative. Let's try to be ahead of the competition and launch something new and include crypto into our offering. How was that? What did you have to balance within the different, let's say, interests?
Yeah, so the journey was about educating people. So first of all, there were client demand. Okay, so young clients, they wanted exposure, so they were explaining their dads about crypto, and they trying to convince them. That's quite interesting. Older clients were about, okay, maybe it's good to diversify a little bit. And all our private bankers and advisors were more about, okay, I need a product, a serious one, where I can really offer this new asset class to my clients without sweating. A product what I can really defend into investment committee. So that's the reason we started thinking about creating this fund. Yes, to make a really proper regulated product, a serious one to invest in crypto for the long term.
Got you. Absolutely. And then you mentioned specifically crypto ETPs, which it's quite interesting. Like, can you tell us a little bit more, why did you decide to build your investment structure using these vehicles? Like, what's so special about them? What makes them specifically fit to your use case?
Yeah, I've been in crypto 10 plus years, and sometimes I'm really well criticized in the, let's say, only crypto atmosphere. Like, okay, why ETPs? Let's try to do all kind of transaction and so on. I've done that, and I still am doing that in Ethereum and Solana and all the layers. And I have to say that for the first 1,000 USD, it's okay. Maybe a couple of thousand, it's okay. But when you try to invest more than 10,000, 100K into the space, you should go safe. I am a computer engineer, and even myself, sometimes I'm kind of like, I could mess it up with the keys, with the ledger, with everything. It's like operational risk, a lot of kind of phishing attempts. So it's so secure, an ETF in the States or ETP in Europe to get involved in crypto that we really think that's the institutional and serious way for people to invest for the long-term, serious amounts of capital.
Got you. Absolutely. And actually, to your point, just the feeling of safety is so fundamental for, in the end, the people who are the beneficial owners and then your funds, right? They have to benefit from that type of custodial securities, custodial safety. So very important point. Let me ask you a little bit. So you talked to us about how the cryptomonedas idea kind of came to be, what you had to, let's say, negotiate in terms of internal stakeholders, let's say, in your strategy. Tell us a little bit about your work, your strategy specifically, if you can. I don't want to reveal any family secrets, just what you feel like sharing with us.
Yeah, Fabio, the strategy is simple. I mean, this space is going to give you 40% annualized returns for the next 10 years, in my opinion. So it's kind of just stay focused, diversify, be really blockchain agnostic, although, we are here for Solana today. But, I mean, you have to take into account that there are several major ones, and you should allocate to them properly. So, for example, what we call the FAT protocols, Bitcoin, Ether, and Sol, those ones, they are huge in comparison with the other ones. With that, it means I like to compare it to mobile smartphones operating systems. There are Android, there is iOS, and nothing more. Even Microsoft tried it with Windows Phone. You know anybody with Windows Phone here? Nobody. So, I mean, same is happening with these protocols. I mean, when you have in the smart contract protocols landscape protocols like Ethereum or Solana, the cost of penetration of new protocols is so high that you should allocate properly. That's the reason we have higher percentage and higher allocation in our fund to Bitcoin, Ether, and Sol, and fewer percentages to other protocols that, yeah, maybe they could go on a lot, they could grow a lot, but the probability to fall apart in a 4 or 5 year period, it's pretty high.
Got you. Absolutely, yeah. And I love also the idea that you're sharing with us, the idea of giving market access to the investor, right? Like the real benefit being you're in the space, you're investing in the space. Doesn't necessarily specifically accrue to one asset. But since we're here, since we're at Solana Breakpoint, let me ask you something more about Solana. What did you get? So first of all, are you a strategic investor in the fund? You just mentioned it, but how did you get to take that decision, and how's it gone for your investment journey so far?
Yeah, so Solana, I think I'm the first one that is telling you this here. Solana fell apart more than 97% in the last bear market in 2022. So, I mean, the resilience that Solana saw us really surprised. The recovery of Solana, of the protocol, was pretty high, in my opinion. There are few coins that, if you measure the price action in terms of Bitcoin, for example, there are few ones that recover so fast as Solana did. So that's the reason we had a 4% allocation at the beginning of the fund. And later on, we saw a really increase in fundamentals in the network. So a lot of developer activity, a lot of application, real blockchain application growing on the protocol. So that's the reason we really dig into our due diligence. We really dig into the protocol, all the boring due diligence stuff. And we finally decide to allocate up to 10% into Solana. So that's our allocation during this, drop in the alt. There is no alt season. You know that, and that's the reason we are.
But you're also the first to say it today.
Yeah, but we are overweighting now Solana because in terms of market dominance, I think it's around 3 point something. But I mean, we have triple amount of weight in the protocol. So our current allocation is 10% in the fund.
Oh, perfect. Got you. So it's interesting because you're overweighting Solana even despite what the metrics tell you.
Even 10% maybe could seem pretty low, for a Solana ecosystem network event. I have to tell you that it's a lot in terms of market dominance.
Absolutely, thank you. And let me just follow up, still on a question about Solana, because I know that you follow this quite specifically. What are the drivers that you see going onwards for that are of interest to you as an asset allocator for the Solana ecosystem that would make you say, oh, actually, that's somewhere that I really want to be in. That's somewhere that excites me, and I want to participate into that, making sure that my investors participate into that.
Yeah, our coin invested decision is pretty boring. I mean, you don't have to be the most coolest new protocol or new crypto. You only have to survive a morning meeting risk committee in the morning. And I mean, so yeah, I mean, not funny stuff. We look for really key fundamentals. We are looking for real cryptocurrency, so permissionless is really important for us. Decentralization, sometimes they argue that Solana isn't decentralized enough. I would tell them that even a Solana financial ecosystem is better than the current financial traditional rails. So talking about that, we saw a really huge explosion in stablecoin wars. As you know, more than 300 billion are running now in stablecoins around the world, and it's growing a lot in networks like Solana. So, I mean, when you are running a stablecoin and you are moving USDC, USDT around the world, you already have a counterparty risk into Circle or Tether. So, I mean, maybe it's not really worried about the level of decentralization of Solana. It's more about how Solana is really fast, how Solana is allowing you to move dollars as the speed of light. And it's converting dollars into programmable money. So I think that's pretty interesting in terms of which crypto we want to have in our portfolio.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And a very last thing, very last minute. I opened by asking a specific question about our industry, right? Our industry is like any other industry, has a top and a bottom, and it has a distribution functions. And I think what excites me about it is that very many times you have to educate people. It's still in a point, at least in my country, but I suppose in Spain it's similar as well. Together with, and specifically in your case, you finally have something to offer your guys in order to get out there and respond to client demand. What do you guys do in terms of education towards your network, towards your private bankers, and towards the broader activity in order to spread the word?
Yeah, it's a lot of meetings with people trying to explain what is crypto, how they should get involved, and how they really should have that 1.5–2% structural positioning in crypto, because this is an asset class that decorrelate. So sometimes it's difficult because it's seen as a lottery or something like that from outside, but it's not. I mean, this is going to give you 40% annualized returns, and that's going to grow your capital by 30 times. So it's not about if, it's about how much to allocate. So at least 1%, in my opinion.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Thanks, Roman.
Thank you all.